First of all, whenever you're sad, whenever you're not happy, it's about you. Always. Just going to stop talking until you realize this. Every ounce of your unhappiness is because you're making it about you. Every time you're truly ecstatic, it's because somehow you've been able to catalyze or see catalyzed through others, even if you had nothing to do with it physically, that caused a particular frequency of truth to be realized in the consciousness of those people. Every time you've been genuinely happy and carefree, it's been about everyone else. In fact, when you're completely depressed, and I ask you for directions, or I ask you to help me out for 1 second, for that 1 second that you're not thinking about yourself, you're actually not sad, you're not depressed. But then you go back, so you help me, and you're like kind of happy actually, and if you give enough space to it, the momentum will shift, and you'll get this fulfillment that you don't know where it comes from. It's like causeless, but it's because you're opening yourself to all as the one infinite creator, as yourself. You destroy, for that moment, you're penetrating and perforating the illusion that you're separate, lacking, limited, that you're physical body. And the vision itself, the vision to which the entire collective is hooked up to, operates through your body. It's not a person operating, it's not neediness, it is actually a profound fulfillment and a union with all that's operating through you. So you help me out for 10 seconds, and you got distracted from your personal bubble, and you're happy. But then you're like, okay, let me go back to my sadness, because I remember it was important. And in fact, I worked 40 years to establish this pride. I worked 40 years to gain this sadness, this depression. So let me go back to it, because it's really important. Who am I without my suffering? Who am I without my history? That's exactly what you want to find out. You see, self-realization, God realization, these amazingly, they'll blow your mind. These realizations cannot occur through memory. Okay, they have absolutely zero to do with memory. When there's a complete gap in your memory, there is, meaning your memory is not used in that moment, there is truth. There's God. There's isness. There's the isness of all that is, right there. And it can be discovered. It can be awoken to. So transcend the person, which will always be weak and limited. I'm not saying it's bad or negative, because this is the vehicle through which we realize more of our infinity. And that's the exciting expression, to go from darkness to light. But, quite objectively speaking, the person is going to be weak and limited, right? Become the vision or your calling, which is, it's a few steps down from becoming all that is and God and no longer having any personal will. A few steps down from that would be to become the vision or your calling, which is indestructible. You can't destroy a vision. You can destroy a physical being, you can destroy a person, you can humiliate an ego, but you can never ever destroy the calling, your calling. You can never destroy the vision. So, kind of like Bruce Wayne says in Batman Begins, if I become more than just a man, if I become a symbol, then I forgot what he says, but then I'm more than just a man. I'm like invincible. I become this thing. I become the vision. So you all have a unique entrance point or plug into the collective vision of this transformational age that's occurring right now. Again, remember, millions of people calling for help every fucking second, and you're hooked up to that vision. And you have a unique calling hooked up to that vision, a unique capacity to express the love and the light through the infinite crystal of creation. And your facet is unique and deserves attention and crystallization of purification and emptying yourself of any thought of you needing anything. Now, this is a gradual process. Be kind to yourself, but also give yourself a kick in the butt sometimes, because it speeds things up and it increases your capacity for bliss and fearless service to others, which increases your fulfillment. So how do you discover your calling? People aren't quite clear on what that is and how to align to their fulfillment in being of service to others. And so a few ways to discover this is to ask yourself a couple questions. Anyone here, what was the happiest moment, when were you most lit up in your life that had something to do with others? Some scenario where there were other people. Going to Haiti? Okay. Yeah. Pointing awareness out to someone, the awareness, and they got it, right? That's what you said, right? Beautiful.
Long lost friend.
Long lost friend, and you Found him again? You re-embrace, you reunited? Great, excellent. Organize the group cleanse. Great. What else? What? This event. Great. Awesome. Well, this event is a great example, right? Because you're all here with a common intention. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. And to then see this community blossom and wake up and like empower themselves and unify themselves, hopefully not so much against, as hopefully I've been able to balance out a little bit, but simply as the truth of God, as the truth of life, as human rights, but without the opposite, without the opposition. Don't believe in the opposition. The less you see opposition, the less you can be messed with. Okay? So anyway, so we're here. And you guys are all, to some extent, happy and being lit up because you're here and you see all these faces and people realizing similar things. So it's a good example. So your calling can be verbalized as a formula to help you get started. And that is, the formula is, my calling is, repeat after me. People experiencing ... You don't have to repeat that, but that's it. So, I don't have a flip chart here, make it a little easier, but whenever people experience what particular unique frequency of the Creator, be it joy, or be it something very specific, like realizing that they can do anything they want, or realizing their true awareness, who they really are, or anything along those lines, and try to make it as specific, boil it down, distill it to the purest, most exciting quality for you. So if the people around you realize or experience what frequency of the Creator, what state of being, what realization or experience do they have that lights you up when you see it out there? Because it reminds you of the truth of who you really are, and so you get lit up. So what were some of the most lit up moments in your life, and what were people experiencing in that moment? Anything? Anyone clear on this? Sorry? Bliss in vibration? Nice. Community? Awesome. When you see someone get healed? Beautiful. Okay. Higher understanding. Co-creation. Birth of a child. Okay, so for example, with the birth of a child, generally I would say your calling is not people experiencing the birth of a child. So this is a great example to distill that down further. Okay, so I'm experiencing the birth of a child, and something about that, there's something in that formula of frequencies. It's a combination of frequencies. When a child gets born, it's not just one vibration. There's a lot of things going on for the child, the parents, your presence there. So what about that experience lights you up the most? Can you distill that? And you don't have to do it right now unless it's instantly clear to you. Or raise your hand in like a minute or so of you.
It's the definition of being, beginning.
It's the definition of being or beginning. That's beautiful. That's great. Awesome. So what if you see an adult, they're age 45, they've gone through a lot of trauma and history, and they identify with the body and the mind and their history and their memories. And so somehow, whether by your virtue, by virtue of your presence or catalytic words, or by a friend, and you have physically nothing to do with it, you're just a witness to it. But somehow they realize, oh my God, I am, and actually every moment is a clear slate. I can create whatever I want. I am this beingness. I am the purity of life. I am the beginning and the end. This is the beginning of my life. Would that excite you? Beautiful. So, in that case, repeat after me. My calling is people experiencing themselves as a new beginning. For example, and how does it make you feel? It's great. So what you want to do is you want to distill this and distill this and distill this until when you say it, you're like in tears, or you're so excited, or you're so moved, something just clicks, this blockage in your heart dissolves, and you can't help but feel genuinely moved. And that's when you found your calling. And it's the verbalization of your calling. It's not your calling. The words are not the thing, but the verbalization, the formula helps greatly. So I encourage you to tonight do some introspection and really go through some of your past experiences when you were the most lit up. And don't just have it at face value, like people experiencing love. That can be good, but if you're not moved to like, oh my God, yes, I know why I'm here now, then it's not exactly it yet. It might get close. But you want to get to a closer and more accurate representation of your true calling in words. So what about people experiencing love is it? Well, it might be that they went from darkness to light. And suddenly you say, well, my calling is people experiencing a transformation from darkness to light. And suddenly when you say that, you feel like, yes, this is it. Oh my God, I found it, right? So you want to do that and then continue with the iteration that feels best to you at this timing, and then continue to refine that as you go. Every once in a while, just ask yourself, what is my calling really? What about that is? Is there a improved definition right now? And here is why this is beautiful and important, and why this could cause you a life of unending happiness. It's because now that you have your calling, you can look at the structure and the environment of your life and see exactly what is not conducive to people experiencing transformation, new beginnings, love, truth. And suddenly all these areas in your life, all your hobbies, your activities, some of the people you hang out with, the job that you have, the thoughts that you have, suddenly you're like, holy crap, no wonder I've been not happy on a day-to-day constant basis, because my life is exactly going against my calling. Everything that I do goes against my calling. It prevents my calling. It's just social conditioning. Just this whole garbage, this whole memory base, this whole everything. I identify with the things and I do the things and I think I'm excited about the things that have very little to nothing to do with establishing more and more people experiencing the truth of their being, or the capacity to be of service, or going from darkness to light, or infinite love, or the creator in everything, or whatever it might be that lights you up. When you find a statement that lights you up, you found your unique, individualized crystallization of your incarnation, the imprint, the blueprint for your reason for being here. When you realize that you know why you're here, now you can realign the structure, the architecture, your schedule, your hobbies, the environment, everything of your life can now fall underneath that. If you don't have a course, you can't course correct. That's why everyone is so confused and so unhappy, and that's why their spiritual glimpses only last for 10 seconds, and then they're depressed again. Because they fall back over and over again in an environment with the same people, with the same activities, with the same structure and architecture and thought forms that are in a frequency that has nothing to do with why they are here.